So if you're like me, you saw the Angry Video Game Nerd episode of Bugs Bunny Crazy Castle, where he is very surprised that there are actually 5 games in that pretty worthless series of video games. But the tale is a lot deeper than that, actually. If he knew the whole truth, he would have been even more confused, because this series it's actually kind of 2 series. It's a Mickey Mouse series, or 3. It's Mickey Mouse, it's Bugs Bunny, and it's some other franchises are also involved. It's a mess, so let's try to make sense of this whole thing, okay? This is the confusing Crazy Castle and Mickey Mouse madness. So, starting with the first game was on NES. It came out in the United States as Bugs Bunny Crazy Castle. And it did not come out in Europe, but it did come out in Japan on the Famicom Disk System as Roger Rabbit. So that's the first other franchise, but it gets better. This is the second game, but then the first game got a Game Boy port, which was Bugs Bunny's Crazy Castle in the United States. It was Bugs Bunny Crazy Castle in Europe. Good. However, in Japan, it was Mickey Mouse. Don't ask me why, but that's where it is. Then I'm gonna leave the second one for now, because that's the craziest one, and then just move over to 3. Everything else is on Game Boy pretty much, and portables, but this, now for a little bit we go back to the consoles. We have Mickey Mouse 3 on the Famicom, and we have Kid Clown in Nightmare World on the NES, and nothing in Europe. Right? And then, actually, I can just say that on the Bugs Bunny Crazy Castle side, from 3 on, it's just like in the Angry Video Game Nerd video. There's nothing more to say, really. There's Bugs Bunny Crazy Castle 3, Bugs Bunny Crazy Castle 4, and there's Woody Woodpecker in Crazy Castle 5, okay? So that's all fine. But if we go back to the whole Mickey Mouse business, which is still the Crazy Castle games, but just in a different coat of paint, we get to different stuff. Then there's Mickey Mouse 4 in Japan, and that was the real Ghostbusters in the United States, and Garfield Labyrinth in Europe. Alright then. So that's 3 regions. Not just like Blue Shadow on the NES, where you have 3 regions, 3 names. This is 3 regions, 3 completely different franchises, but it's still the same game. And then Mickey Mouse 5 in Japan, Maho no Stick, or Sticky as they write it out. That was in the United States, Mickey Mouse Magic Wands, and in Europe, Mickey Mouse 5 Zauberstäbe, at least according to GameFAQs, game FAQs. So I saw that first, and I was like, did it only come out in Europe? But after googling it on eBay, I found an Italian seller which had the Mickey Mouse 5 Magic Wands for sale, and it was, it didn't look, if I looked at the American version, just called Magic Wands, they look different. So I have concluded that there is actually a real PAL version of Mickey Mouse 5 Magic Wands. So it didn't just come out in Germany. And now, going back to the second one, which is the most interesting case. You have Bugs Bunny Crazy Castle 2 in the United States. You have Mickey Mouse 2 in Japan. In Europe, however, we have Mickey Mouse. So, just Mickey Mouse. So we have Mickey Mouse 2 and Mickey Mouse, just Mickey Mouse, at the same game, 2 different regions. However, a couple years later, Europe also got Hugo. Remember that? I remember that. I remember that as a kid watching Sweden's most popular bingo game, Bingo Lotto, and you could call in and you'd control Hugo with the keys on your telephone, which made it really annoying if you had one of these, because it was like 4 for left and 6 for right and that kind of thing. So yeah, Europe has 2 different versions, but we're not done yet. In Japan, the game got released one more time as Bugs Bunny Crazy Castle 2 in the Bugs Bunny collection for Game Boy, compatible with the Super Game Boy. So yeah, now in Japan we have Mickey Mouse 2 and Bugs Bunny Crazy Castle 2. But we're not done yet. In 1997, really fucking late, they released Soreyuke Kid, which is Crazy Castle 2 one more time. However, the kid in question is Kid Clown. Not Kid Clown from Nightmare World, but the other Kid Clown. You remember him from Crazy Chase on Super Nintendo? So now another completely different franchise. The only difference here is that it's not a movie or cartoon franchise, it's just a video game franchise, Kid Clown is. But not the other Kid Clown, by the way, yes. So this is pretty crazy, right? The Japanese, the whole Mickey Mouse series, pretty crazy. The Bugs Bunny Crazy Castle series, also crazy. And if you're European, you don't know anything else, it's not even really a series, it's just a bunch of different games from different franchises that are all the same type of game for no discernible reason. And all this over a series of games that are not very good. And now you know the rest of the story.